What's going on, cryptocurrency universe? It's the Bitcoin miner here, guys. Well, as we all know, the price has been going up on Bitcoin quite a lot. I think it hit a little over 1,160, $50. I guess it depends on the exchange. And I know we were all excited. Then all of a sudden, we got some red. Well, what goes up must come down. But I personally did not expect this much of a pullback. I did expect some of a pullback, and I was hoping that it was going to hold the $1,000 mark. But obviously, it pretty much went down to I think 800, a little over 800 today. And we've got a hammer candle, which is a good sign. Which you see there's some green at the top, and it's just a straight line down. That's known as a hammer candle, which means it got too cheap and people are now starting to buy back into it. So just like I'm sure all of you guys, I was wondering, I was like, why? What in the world caused this much of a crash? I know there was going to be profit taking and stuff, so I just wanted to make a quick video and give you a quick explanation. I am not worried. Bitcoin will recover, but let's go over what I found. So there are tons of articles out there. What's going on with Bitcoin? Dramatic price fluctuations, so violent natures of the virtual cash. So as I go on and briefly read this article. So basically what's going on is the yen in China has been going down drastically. And they have been bringing a lot of awareness to Bitcoin over there. And apparently yen has just started going back up. And that caused the initial decrease because people were probably switching their wealth back from Bitcoin to the yen because it was going back up. Day traders, they go where the hype is of what's going up. And let's see, there's another major cause which caused the second day because this was on the 5th. I think it was the 4th. So here's another article, Bitcoin value plunges. And also, I'm sure there's some panic selling in there, which also helped drive it down. In my opinion, this is a buying time. I personally bought a couple already. I can't afford much, unfortunately. But I bought 1.5, so I'll do what I can. Let's see what this article says real quick, and I'll recap it. So this article actually says it best. The value of Bitcoin dropped sharply Thursday night as the Chinese individual investors rushed to dump the virtual currency in exchange for the fast-rising yen. So the yen had been dropping for a long time, and that had helped, Bitcoin raise in value. And of course, something else we've got to look at is mining profitability. The S7 is, depending on your power cost, at $800, you're not making anything. The S9, it's getting down, I think, to $7. I'd have to go and look at this, and this is per day, and of course, probably after power. These are just rough estimates. So, and that's at $800. So, in reality, we're not going to be able to get much lower than $800 because it's just not profitable for the miners and they won't sell. So, it's only going to go for so low for so long, and this is pretty close to rock bottom if you ask me. So, let's continue. So, here's another article. Basically, China on the 5th, I think it was, a couple days ago, released a statement on Bitcoin. So the China government warns Bitcoin users, and it also causes a panic sell. So this is what got us the steep down. Let's go look at the chart again. So now we have the chart up. So this one is probably your natural pullback. You can see right in here, this is because the yen started going up. I really didn't expect it to go quite that low, which is actually, it's on the 5th. Okay. So the article is really when the Chinese government released information about Bitcoin was on the 5th. So that's really what caused this whole panic thing plus panic selling. Let's go back to that article. So this was on the cointelegraph.com if you guys really want to go back and read it for yourself. I'm just trying to touch base on it lightly and give my opinion. And because I had a little bit of time trying to figure this out myself, what was causing the major crash, because this was more than just profit taking. But so basically on January 5th, the People's Bank of China, they released a statement emphasizing their status on Bitcoin. So China does not consider Bitcoin to be a currency. However, the Central Bank of China highlighted that Bitcoin is still a virtual currency or a virtual good, which is legally traded and used within the country, which is great news. That means China considers it legal and they, accept it. So that means they're not going to try to block it out of their network and everything. So this is really exciting news to me, actually. So there's some good news in here, and the underlining part of this, that China actually accepts Bitcoin, and they're publicly stating so. So we no longer have to worry about the government wanting to just totally shut down the Bitcoin community and stuff like that. But they don't see it as a currency. They see it as a virtual good, which is fine. It doesn't matter. It works for us. So essentially, the Chinese government and the central bank issued a substantial warning and a statement to the general public, which basically entitled they're basically saying they're not responsible for the risk of it. You can hold it or not. They're not responsible for it. It's not a backed currency. They're just saying that you can use Bitcoin. You just have to do it at your own risk. So this was just kind of a slap on the wrist for the local people in China, more or less, and this caused a panic sell, and I believe that's what caused the big drop. Let's go back. So in my opinion, it's that statement from the Chinese government to the people that caused the big drop. So all of the gains we had over the last month were pretty much wiped out for the most part just from that simple statement. But as I said, there is some good info in there that's the underlining that the Chinese government actually accepts Bitcoin and that people are legally able to do it, and it's not something that's considered black market. That is really, really good news. Bitcoin is already recovering. We're back at $900. I see the $1,000 is going to be the header. It's going to be hard for us to break through that again, but once we break through it, it's going to be clear skies, guys. So full steam ahead for Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin miner, guys. Good talking to you. This is my 2 cents on what I think happened. I'm buying, guys. I'm not selling. I am buying. This is my personal opinion. Do as you please. Don't hold me accountable. But again, talk to you guys later on. See you guys.